My name is Deirdre Hennessy. I'm a grassland researcher at Teagasc Moor Park. Grass grows in the soil. At the base of the grass plant we have roots. These are almost like fingers coming out of the plant into the soil. They're quite thin, some of them as thin as a thread. These roots take up water and nutrients from the soil. The nutrients are the food the plant uses to grow. The plant is green. This is because it contains chlorophyll. And using the chlorophyll, the plant can trap energy from the sun, and through the process of photosynthesis makes this available for plant growth. So grass grows using water and nutrients that are taken up by the roots and with the energy that is made by photosynthesis. A lot of grass grows each year. Just think how often you have to cut the grass in your garden. So on a dairy farm, we can grow about 14 tonnes of dry matter per hectare each year. That is a lot of grass. We know this because every week, all across the country, farmers measure how much grass is on their farm. Then they bring the information into their farm office or on their mobile phone, and they put it into the computer or the phone and into a database. And from this we can calculate how much grass is grown on farms. Grass grows all year round. Sometimes it grows faster and sometimes it grows slower. In the spring and summer, grass grows fast. This is because there is heat, some water and lots of sunlight. In the autumn and winter it grows slower because it is colder, wetter and also darker. Cows like the taste of grass. They prefer some parts to others. For example, on the grass plant, they really like the leaf. If it's very stemmy, they don't really like that as much. In the field, there are other plants as well as grass. So for example, where the cows are grazing behind me, we have clover as well. And the cows really like clover. When the cows come into a field that has grass and clover, they will eat the clover first. So they have a preference over what part of the sward or the field they like to graze, but they really like grass. Clover looks like big shamrock. It has 3 leaves. Sometimes we might be lucky and find a 4-leaved clover in the field. Clover is from the same family as peas and beans, so it is a legume. Clover is very special to have in our swards. The cows really like it, and when cows eat grass that has some clover in it, they produce more milk than cows that are grazing only grass.
My name is Ellen Fitzpatrick and I'm a PhD student based here at Teagasc Moor Park. There's a number of different processes that cows go through to turn grass into milk. So a cow has 4 different compartments in its stomach, unlike us who only have one. Cows are called ruminants. So the first compartment of a cow's stomach is called the rumen. When a cow is out in the field grazing grass, she eats all the grass and swallows it half chewed. In the rumen, water and other digestive juices are added to the grass and it begins to break down the grass. This is the first stage of the digestive process. The second part of the cow's stomach is the reticulum. This is where the grass is softened and small wads of grass are formed, which are called cuds. These cuds are where the term "the cow is chewing the cud" comes from. During this process, these cuds are returned to the cow's mouth, where they are chewed between 40 and 60 times every minute. The third part of the stomach is called the omasum, where the cuds are pushed down to the third chamber and the grass is squeezed and pressed and any excess of water is squeezed out of the grass. The final part of the stomach is called the abomasum, and this is where the grass is finally turned into milk. So the grass moves down through the abomasum. The nutrients are absorbed into the bloodstream by the cow. These are the essential nutrients for growth and body function. The other nutrients from the grass goes down through the abomasum and it's directed towards the cow's udder. It's here where there's 4 mammary glands that the cow is able to finally turn the grass into milk. And this is the digestive process which turns grass out in the field into milk, which is a final product. Cows love to snack on corn or concentrate. Corn and concentrate contain loads of energy and vitamins and minerals, which cows really love. However, like ourselves, if we eat too much chocolate and sweets when we're not used to it, a cow, if she eats too much corn and concentrates and she's not used to it, her stomach can get quite sick. So this is the reason that the most of a dairy cow's diet is made up of grass and or grass silage, and a smaller amount is made up of corn or concentrates.
Hi, my name is Emer Kennedy. I'm a researcher here at Teagasc Moor Park. The amount of grass a cow eats depends on her stage of lactation, it depends on how old she is, how much milk she's producing, and also what size she is. Bigger cows tend to eat more grass, younger cows eat less grass, and cows that are at their peak milk yield production will also eat more grass. Here you can see beside me typically how much grass a cow eats in a day. So it's about 18 kilos of dry matter per cow per day. To understand how long a cow grazes for, we put a piece of equipment called a Rumi watch on her. So you can see 8954 here is wearing a Rumi watch, and that will give us the grazing time, the ruminating time and the idling time, or the time that she spends doing her different activities during the day. So for example, if we take grazing time, a lot of people go to work from 9 to 5 during the day and work an 8-hour day. Similarly, cows will graze for about 8 hours during the day. At the same time, they have just grazed their grass. They also need to chew it more and digest it more, which is called rumination, and they will spend another 8 hours or so a day doing this. And the final 8 hours during the day, they spend idling or just kind of hanging around, sleeping and playing with their friends. The amount of water a cow drinks depends on her stage of lactation, it depends on the amount of milk she's producing, but also the weather that's there on the day. Like us, if it's a hot day, we tend to drink more water. The cows will also drink more water on a hot day. And again, if they're producing a large volume of milk, so a lot of milk, they're going to drink more water based on that. Typically, a cow would drink between 40 to 60 litres per day. So if we put it in terms of these 2-litre bottles of water, a cow is drinking 20 to 30 bottles of water per day. So quite a lot. The amount of milk a cow produces over a year is about 5,500 litres. Now, if we bring that back to how much she produces in a day, we can see from all these bottles of milk, a cow at peak lactation will yield about 30 litres per day. So that's 15 2-litre bottles of milk. So a lot of milk to drink if you were to drink all the milk that a cow would produce in one day. Over her lifetime, a cow would produce about 30,000 litres of milk. So typically a cow calves at 2 years of age, and she will have a calf every year for maybe about 5 years. So this gives her 5 years while she's milking, adding up to the 30,000 litres over her lifetime. A cow is milked twice a day in Ireland. In some countries where cows produce a lot more milk than our Irish cows, say for example 10,000 litres a year compared to our cows' average of 5,000 litres per year, they could be milked 3 times a day. Of course, there's also some farms who milk cows once a day, where they want to balance lifestyle and farming at the same time.
My name is Alan Toomey and I'm an animal geneticist in Teagasc Moor Park. The main cows used in dairy production in Ireland are Holstein Friesian or Jerseys. With their Holstein Friesian is your more predominant black and white breed, and this breed is very good for milk production. So this is a Holstein Friesian cow to my left. She's a black and white cow and more of a predominant cow that we would see across Ireland. She is much taller and wider in stature than her Jersey cow that we see on my right. I suppose secondly here is our Jersey cow, predominantly known for their fertility and maintenance. They're a smaller cow where they're about 200 kilos lighter than our Holstein Friesian. So here we have a pedigree Jersey cow, and as we can see she's relatively small in stature and a kind of a brown fawn colour, and as a black face with a white muzzle. And as you can see down through the feet, they're more of a black hoof, different relative to our Holstein Friesian. To collect more information on these cows, we can get DNA information on them. Our brothers and sisters are not always the same, so we're not always the same as our brother or our sister. So even though we have the same mother and father, we don't carry the same genes. So then we want to get DNA information. So we usually take a hair sample from the end of the tail, to get the DNA information. This DNA is sent off to the lab, and it looks across the whole genome and looks at different variants. And we can identify different variants that are good for different traits. So if one cow has one variant or one gene, we know that cow is good for milk production. So cows often make a moo sound, and this is a communication, just like us, how we communicate to others. Unfortunately, us humans, and we'd love to know what cows are thinking, but we can't understand these moo sounds. But these moo sounds often refer to their calling their herd mates, or they're informing their herd mates of danger. Cows often also moo when we know they're maybe in pain or hungry, just like normal humans. The prime example would be a baby. So a baby cries, we're always trying to work out what there actually is the issue. And just like that, a cow moves when they have an issue like that.
My name is Ben Lahart. I'm a researcher with VISTAMILK based in Moorpark, and I'm working on methane emissions from grazing dairy cows. Methane is a gas produced by cows as a result of fermentation within their stomach. So cows eat grass, it goes into their stomach or rumen, and bugs in the stomach break that grass down into different energy sources that the cow uses to produce milk. But a byproduct this is methane, which it belches out. So 95% of methane is belched out and 5% is excreted through flatulence or farting. So a cow produces 350 grams on average methane a day, so that's actually equivalent of a tin of tomato soup in methane a day. We can measure methane using two different techniques. The first of these is the SF6 technique, which is a backpack that goes on top of the cow, and simultaneously the cow is dosed with a bolus which releases a tracer gas called SF6, and the backpack on top of the cow is capable of picking up this tracer gas, which is used to estimate methane. In Teagasc Moorpark here, we use data on grass quality, animal numbers. We can also potentially use data from the green feeds here behind me going forward, and these can help us paint a fairly accurate picture of the environmental footprint of our grazing systems. So we need to reduce methane over the next 10, 20, 30 years to combat climate change. Methane is a greenhouse gas. So, every little bit of methane we can mitigate within Ireland, in the dairy industry, in the agriculture industry as a whole, will have a positive impact on all of our futures going forward.
My name is Nanik and I'm a researcher in Moorpark Food Research Center. In this video, I will tell a bit story about cow's milk, cheese and whey. Cow's milk can be consumed as it is because milk is a good source of calcium and vitamin D that are required to have healthy and strong bones. But cow's milk can also be processed further into cheese. When cows eat green grass, 30 liters of the cow's milk they produce will make 3 kilograms of cheese.
Hi, my name is Charlotte Oliver and I'm a third-year PhD student in Teagasc Moorpark working on milk. The main protein that you find in milk are whey protein and caseins, and they are easily digested by humans. Milk is good for you because it contains proteins, and proteins are very important for muscle growth, and it's very important for kids and elderly to consume proteins to maintain a good health. Milk also contains vitamins such as vitamin B2, vitamin B5 or vitamin B12, and those are good for your system to keep you healthy. Milk is also a source of calcium and phosphorus and calcium are good for your bones. Milk also contains vitamin D, and vitamin D is very important for our bones and our immune health.
There are a few basic steps to convert milk into cheese. First, milk needs to be acidic by adding bacteria called lactic acid bacteria. What is acidic? Acidic means having low pH, and pH is a scale to express acidity. Other foods like lemon or vinegars are examples of low pH food. The second step is adding a material called rennet that helps the transformation process of liquid milk into solid as curd. So here's an illustration how the milk looks like after the pH was lowered and curd was formed in it. The milk now consists of yellowish liquid and white clumps, which are curds. Using a cloth filter, the remaining liquid is drained away and curd is obtained. Here's how curd looks like after the liquid was drained away. The curd is then placed into cheese mold, pressed, salted, and ripened to be cheese.